This week's video is sponsored by Squarespace. Okay, did y'all hear that? She just drove by and said, y'all haven't seen a black and white goat, have you?
Small town living is
somebody's
flipping
goat got loose.
awesome.
It's that day.
It is that day.
Are you ready for the day?
I don't think I am. I'm a little nervous.
Kitchen reveal day for our lovely Pearl.
Which we are 8 days from closing, supposedly. The appraiser still hasn't called, so who knows? But supposedly we're 8 days from closing.
I know. I think we're almost done. We're in the final phases.
We're in the worst phase
of getting this finished.
It's the worst phase. Don't you think it's the worst phase?
No, I'm loving it.
Really? Because all I look around and see are the 10 million tiny little things.
No, I feel like, well, I know what you mean. It's like the little things are making you a little crazy.
Yes.
But I feel like every now and then you do something, it's like, oh, that's done.
Well,
wow.
We have had some monumental steps forward in this last week. Like all of a sudden, it looks pretty finished.
Yeah. Deal.
Okay. Awesome. So let's talk about this kitchen that everybody's been waiting so many weeks to see. This is, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, I don't think I've ever been so proud of a design in my entire career doing houses.
You know why? It's because A, it's beautiful, but you've done beautiful things before. But B, you're overcoming so many obstacles.
That's exactly what it is.
By the design, that that is an achievement in itself.
It is.
And then it's beautiful beyond that.
Yeah.
Did I say that horribly?
No, I don't think so. There were so many obstacles.
Well, I'm so proud of what you did here.
Thank you.
Yeah, you should be proud.
Let's begin at the beginning.
Let's begin at the beginning. Okay, we walked into the kitchen. First time we walked in, we were like, what do we do here? There's two windows, and of course, historic homes, the windows come down below counter, so you can't even put an under counter there unless you change the windows, which we don't want to do. There is a chimney stack that you were like, well, we're gonna have to get rid of this, and I was like, please don't make us get rid of this. Well, you found a way to work around it.
I did.
There is a door going into the laundry room, back door, basically a door that goes into the pantry.
There were 4 doors because we took one out. The one that went into the main bath. The first thing I did was work on a plan.
Okay.
Because I knew that a traditional kitchen, there is no way to make the traditional kitchen triangle work in that space. You could push your 3 things into corners, stove here, refrigerator here, sink here, but then you would literally have 0 counter space.
No counter space, and really no room for a dishwasher either.
No, there would be no room for no way to put a dishwasher
3 appliances basically you put in there.
And no room for a work table. We actually, for whatever reason, taped it out, kind of like looking to see could this be possible.
Figure it out, yeah.
The biggest work table that you could put in that space with those appliances there, leaving your 36-inch space that you have to have around everything, was a 2x2 work table. Now I know that on a piece of graph paper that looks pretty promising if each square is, you draw it and you're like, ooh, that's big. If you tape out a 2x2 work table, it's hilarious. So I started working on the plan. I'm lucky that I have a good friend who's a spatial engineer. She actually works in engineering, but she does spatial design. And I went to her and I was like, hey, I kind of have this idea. What do you think about this? And when it got her 2 thumbs up, I was excited. I was excited.
You got my 2 thumbs up.
You did.
When you first told it to me, I was like, yes, that's brilliant. That's the way to do it right there. Yeah. The challenges we had to get this kitchen.
To recreate the kitchen.
The challenges we had to make a kitchen out of whatever this was, right?
Right.
First of all, we've got bad plaster issues.
Very bad plaster
all
issues.
All over the place, including the ceiling in that room.
Yeah.
So we've got to put up drywall, and all along you were going to put up tile on all the walls anyway.
Yes, but you don't want to tile over plaster. You can't just tile over plaster. I mean, you can. It's not illegal. Nobody's going to come knock on your door and give you a ticket, but it'll fall off the wall.
And that's not great, I mean, it's not good for spaghetti. Have a little tile in the spaghetti.
Tile and plaster dust.
No
good.
Not great. So we had to do that. I came down and started working on these floors, and I thought, oh, we're going to pull up these floors. Oh my gosh. First of all, there were 2 wooden subfloors and then like 3 vinyl things. But those things were put down with nails that they never intended to ever release.
What are they called? The grip tight nails?
Grip tight nails is what they're
called.
That's
They're a combo of a nail and a screw. So you nail them in, but they have these little they're like a porcupine quill. You know how the porcupine quills go in and they have the little spines, and so you can't just, the bar or a stingray, they're like a stingray stinger.
Yeah.
So they go in, but you can't pull them out because they have the barbs.
So it nearly killed me to pull all that out.
Did it take you 2 weeks to get that out?
No, I was basically done in a week.
Okay.
But it was a lot of, oh my gosh. And I used 5 different crowbars, and I mean, it was hard to get out. But,
and then getting the cabinets out. We thought, we'll just pop the cabinets out.
Yeah.
With full intention of then donating them to Habitat for Humanity to be reused.
No, they were in there in a way that we could not save them. So we were able to save a little bit of that island and donated that to someone.
But unfortunately, the cabinets had to literally be taken apart piece by piece to get them off the wall.
The floor was too. I mean, there was no pulling up a 4x8 piece of floor. I had to cut it into small sections to get it out.
So what did you find when you pull the floor up?
We finally get all of the floor up, and there's a good section on the north wall that is, it's all the way down one section, and then it's about 2 feet in. Yeah. 2 feet by 10 feet maybe, that had to be replaced.
Yeah, just rotten from water.
And fortunately, I guess, we had actually put a bathroom in another area of the house, and we cut out the floor and put in subfloor there because we were going to tile that floor all along. So we had flooring that we could use. Yeah. So we used it, put it in that space.
Plumbing in the kitchen had been in like 6 different places.
I kept moving it around.
We kept having to cut pipes and pull them up and then plugging holes. How many holes did we have to plug in that floor?
8 or 9 or 10, I don't know.
There were just so many holes.
Right, and after a while, it's like I'm not going to replace all of the floor.
Right.
And a lot of these were going to be under cabinets and things we knew, so we were just like, we're going to plug those.
Well, we knew we were going to do something special to the floors too, so plugs would work because of this floor treatment that you'll see here in a minute. So we got the floors done. Well, we got the floors patched.
Got the floors patched. Then we had to sand the floors.
Because kitchen floors, originally in houses of this age, your kitchen floor would have been painted and then had like a linoleum or oilcloth.
Well, in fact, we found the little nails
that floor cloth tacks,
which was really cool. So, but we knew we were going to do something special with those floors.
Sanding it was very difficult.
Yeah.
Because it's lead paint, which does not come up easily. And then the pantry. They had glued down the linoleum in the pantry.
Yeah, we got fortunate, I guess. In the other places, we didn't have glued down things.
We did, but they had glued it down on the plywood that we were pulling up.
Right.
So we could just take all of it up. But the pantry, they had glued it right to the hardwood with more glue. I think they used one of those entire 5-gallon buckets of industrial linoleum glue just in the pantry.
Yeah, we had to eat it up.
So I tried the heat gun. I tried a scraper. I tried everything. We could not get it up, so we sanded it up. Yeah. Also, I am going to say this. We love animals. We have 7 dogs. So this is not a character statement about anybody who's ever lived in that house, but they had obviously had animals who had had accidents in the kitchen. So sanding up that linoleum.
Was there an odor?
The smell.
Can you smell it?
I had to leave the house. Do you remember? I was working on the other side of the pantry because the china cabinet is right on the other side of that pantry, and I was painting that pantry. And I had to run from the house.
No, the smell of the paint didn't even mask it.
No, and it was oil paint, if that tells you anything.
Man, that was strong.
It was bad. So got the floor stripped. Very exciting.
Yes.
Then we painted. I could not wait to get that beadboard painted.
It actually had good beadboard around most of it. Beautiful old beadboard.
Thick, like 3/4 of an inch thick, the good stuff, you know? Oh, it was juicy.
Yeah, but a couple of places need to be repaired.
There was a lot of repair.
And then we had to put it around the chimney, which was also interesting.
And we had to put it where you'd taken out that door.
Right, that's right.
Yeah, so we had to
fill that space
make it look like it was beautiful and continuous. So we went out to our friend Mac at 601 Salvage. Yeah. Who always has what we need. It's amazing. Got the beadboard, we got the trim we needed.
Trim pieces there, yeah.
And got that all fixed up. And I painted it Sparrow and Ball Studio Green. I've been dying to use this color forever. And got the paint put up. And that's when it started to look like a room. Well, I guess we did hang the drywall before that. And that it started to kind of look like a room. when the drywall was up, but then we painted it, and I was like, all right.
Okay, this could be a room. This could be a room.
I can see it. This is looking like a kitchen.
Then it's time to put up 8,000 tiles, right? You know we use subway tile.
It was actually 4,200 tiles. I know
Is that
exactly
right?
how many it was. Yes.
Wow.
It was.
Cut and put up and
hand placed
man,
each one
that was
of
a
those.
lot of work, but you know, definitely something you wanted. Those 11-foot ceilings. We wish they were 8-foot ceilings.
Yeah.
But
Only for a minute. Only for a minute.
Right.
But when I was up, it took a solid week, every day, all day. When I'm doing a super big project like that, I only look like 2 feet ahead of me. I would kind of get a 2-foot margin, and I would do that whole section. And so I would feel like, look what I did. And then I would go to the next section and finish that. And then pretty soon I would have an entire 11-foot wall, 11 by 11-foot wall done. But it was an insane amount of work. It was an insane amount of tedious, mind-numbing, painful work. But it's gorgeous.
it is gorgeous. Although when we decided to go home for a couple of days and have someone else grout it, thinking, we were like looking at it going, oh man, I don't want to grout all this. And then
let's remember, I hate to grout.
One of our guys was like, hey, you know, I can grout it. Sure, I used to grout all the time. We're like, great, wonderful. All right, you grout it. We'll go home for 2-3 days.
4 days. We were gone 4 days.
Come back, and he has smeared so much grout. It's just everywhere. It's so thick.
And when we say everywhere,
corners,
it's like the studio green beadboard was gray. It was all over the floor.
It was everywhere. But it was way too thick for our liking, especially the corners, which it was like an inch thick in some of those corners. So we get back and we're like, well, I don't know. So we start chiseling it out and dribbling it out. And
when we say we chiseled it out, somebody on Instagram said, how did you chisel it out? We chiseled it with the hammers and chisels around all 4,200 of those tiles.
We went.
It took a week. That took another week. That put us a week behind in our schedule. It was bad.
But now looks fantastic.
It's
we finally got it to the place we wanted to get it.
Stunning.
We did a white grout in the corners, and it just kind of makes it look like the tile carries
it doesn't
across.
break the room. You know how a corner will break the room? If you have white, it just allows that wall, you have the line of tile. We keep all of our tile lines continuous around the room. So that line, your eye line just flows around the room without a break in the wall.
I really like the look of that.
Yeah. We did have to restore both of the windows.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. We had to, every window
that
in this house had to be restored. But
one window was just plexiglass. It was just a big plexiglass panel.
That's
so once again, we went to our friend Mac at 601 Salvage. This ad is not sponsored by Mac at 601 Salvage, but he's just been so great to us.
Yes.
And we were able to find one that was the measurement. Now, the level of miracle that is
it's hard.
Unbelievable. Because
and they just had one sash too, and then we only needed one. Yeah,
and
that
there
was
it
crazy.
was.
That was crazy.
So we did that. And then I started on the pantry. And let me tell you what, I think we talked about this in an earlier video. I said, I'm going to go demo that pantry. And Kevin said, I think that's man's work. And that he knows that is the way to get me to do something really awful, is by telling me it's man's work. Because then within like an hour and a half, I had demoed out that pantry.
Yep. The pantry was 2 feet deep, and it didn't need to be that deep.
I could have taken a nap.
And we needed more room for your plan. We needed more room in the pantry. So we actually just took that wall and moved it a foot, which actually Brent did. And the whole time I was like, I don't know if this is going to happen. I'm not sure this is going to happen.
I knew it was going to happen.
And it happened pretty easily, really. It's like, wow, okay, well.
I had gotten in there and I had investigated how it was built, how it was constructed. I knew the back wall of the china cabinet and the back wall of the pantry were one layer of beadboard. So all you had to do was cut around the perimeter, take out half of the shelving and push that wall backward.
Yeah, and that's what happened.
And that's what happened.
And it worked
great. It's fantastic.
So now we've got another foot in there to utilize. So that's exciting.
So that was part of the plan, was getting that other foot. It was very important to get that other foot because we needed it for some things that you'll see here in a minute. So when we bought the house, there was this one sad little 1970s stained glass light hanging from, and it was a dark green shade. So it didn't matter how bright the bulb was in the fixture. It was dark. And it was so dirty. Again, Sarah had been a caterer, so there was grease all over the ceiling.
It's been sitting there for 12 years anyway.
Then there's grease on the shade.
Yeah, that's true.
And then the dust sticks in the grease
Right.
from the 12 years of sitting uninhabited. So dirty. So we took that out, and we have 4 lights in the kitchen rather than 1 light in the kitchen. Much brighter, much brighter.
So that was very exciting to have those go up.
Then we did the floors. Should we talk about the floors?
Let's talk about the floors. Hey, you know, we'd never really done a check pattern like this before.
We've never done a checkerboard, ever.
I was very apprehensive, and it took us a little while to get down how we were going to do it.
The math, it's very mathy.
Yeah, it's really mathy. And so what we ended up doing, and you can try this if you want to, was you take your different points, and then we did a chalk line. We snapped it.
Yeah.
And then we came in and we taped off the squares. I guess the first thing we did was you stained the
floor,
the whole floor.
Yeah, just a solid color of stain, which was lovely.
Yes.
And for a second I was like, maybe we'll just leave it, because this
leave
is going to be so hot. We knew the checkerboard was going to be a nightmare, and it was. I'm not going to lie. We actually were doing. He was taping and I was staining at the pattern in, and we looked at each other and he said, why are we working so hard on a house that isn't ours? Like, it was late and we were tired. He looked at me down on the floor. He doesn't do on the floor well, and he's all curled up like a spider, like a dead spider, one of those nasty grass
like
spiders.
Like a granddaddy long legs, where my legs are sticking out straight.
And he
off.
says, why are we working so hard in a house that's not ours? He wasn't wrong. It was a nightmare.
No, but you have to be very precise for sure. Taping and then chalk lines, and then she would come around and stain it, but it came out
beautiful.
We love that floor.
I'm mad I don't have it in my own house.
Yes, but now it's time for the island, which is your grand.
Yeah, so let's talk about the
theme
actual design of the kitchen.
Was to put everything in a center island.
We wanted to create the ultimate kitchen island. One of the things I hate about modern kitchens, the way that they function, is that anytime you are in a workspace, be it the sink or the stove, the refrigerator, you have your back turned to everybody else in the space.
You're facing
Generally
a cabinet,
speaking,
basically.
You're facing a wall or a cabinet, or if you're lucky, a window, but everybody is behind you. So we wanted to reimagine how we function in a kitchen. People always talk about the kitchen is the center of the home and everybody congregates in the kitchen, except we're still putting the cook behind everybody working. So I wanted to create this space that we're all facing each other. If one person is at the stove and one person is at the sink, you're looking at each other. Everything is accessible within reach. So if you're at the stove and you need your butter, your milk, your eggs, your soy sauce, whatever that is refrigerated, it's literally within arm's reach. You don't have to run back and forth through the refrigerator. If you need to fill your pot with water, it's literally right there. All of your utensil, your cooking things, everything is accessible within just turning and grabbing. So the island is huge, and it creates what was unachievable in that kitchen otherwise, and that is counter space. Workable counter space.
So much counter space. Wonderful.
We took a kitchen that had 0 and really had no possibility to have any, because you cannot do wall-mounted cabinets and counter space. So after you cut out for the stove and sink, we have a 5x6 space that is prep space. So 30 square feet of prep space in a kitchen that before had 4 square feet. Literally
crazy.
4 square feet of prep space, because it was a 2x2 island.
Yes.
But then that created the problem of, but where are you going to put your stuff, right? If I'm not going to do wall-mounted cabinets, I don't want to do wall-mounted cabinets because that's not appropriate for a 1900 period kitchen. And because the way this house is built, you see the cabinets when you walk in the front door. So I ordered from Pennsylvania 2 general store cabinets with beveled sliding glass doors. They've been here.
Been in our way.
For 9 months.
Yes.
9 months.
But we finally put them, and I was really worried about getting them back together.
I was too. They had been taken all apart like a puzzle, and I didn't have a photograph of how they looked put together.
So we were like, okay, hopefully we'll figure it out.
But we did.
You had a better idea of how they actually were supposed to go. But put those together, man, it immediately changed everything in there. Oh, they were so gorgeous.
What are they, 8 feet tall? Or 9 feet tall?
8 or 9, yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure.
And they have the same column design on the side, and egg and dart design, as the 2 mantles, the living room mantle and the dining room mantle. So it really carries that theme all the way through, from the front room to the middle to the back room of the house. beautiful
storage space. I mean, you could put anything in there that you wanted to, all your dishware, all your spices.
So on one side I have all of your cooking items. So your pots, your pans, your platters, everything you need to cook with. Your, like Kevin said, your spices. It has great little compartments to put your spices in. And then on the other side of the room on the other side of the island is your sink and your dishwasher. And so the cabinet next to that is all of your dishes. So right there you have where you're gonna put your dishes, your silverware, your glasses, your cups, your saucers, whatever, then your sink, then your dishwasher. So everything is just in a walking pattern.
That makes sense.
And so everybody wants to know, is the under counter refrigerator the only refrigerator in the room? No. In these old spaces, you have to reimagine how to create a space. We've been told that kitchens only function if it's a work triangle. I think the work triangle is an outdated look, and I don't think you can make a kitchen look modern and cool and different if you continue to use that same work triangle and all the cabinets are on the walls and everything has to be here. On the stove side, where you have your cooking utensils, your stove, your under counter refrigerator, then within about 6 steps you have the pantry, which has all of your dry foods, all of your ingredients, all of your prep stuff that you need, and a second refrigerator. Now, it's a smaller refrigerator, but the cubic footage inside the refrigerator is the same as a standard sized refrigerator. So basically,
oh, it's really huge.
it's a huge refrigerator inside a smaller container. It's like a sedan car where it looks kind of small from the outside, but then you get in and it's huge. It actually has more square footage inside than the standard size refrigerator that was in the house, with an ice maker, with everything that you need in a refrigerator. And it's still 5 steps from the stove, 5 steps straight away from the stove, closer than it would be in a triangle configuration. So it just flows. It just works. And then we put shelves that you can reach in the pantry, no shelves to 11 feet in the air, plenty of room to stock all of your dry foods. And then the thing that Kevin put up for me that he did not think was necessary, but I told him it's like, interior design.
What is this?
I love it so much. My herb drying racks. So it's a colossal space.
They do look really cool.
Thank you. Someday he's gonna learn to stop questioning me. I don't know when. Maybe on my deathbed he will say, "You were right, sweetheart.
Yeah.
You were right."
Yeah, if it doesn't have real function for me, I'm like, why?
Why do we have to do this? But they're herb drying racks. So the ceiling, cool. I wanted to bring the cavernous ceiling height down to make it feel like a more usable space. And I love to dry herbs. We put in 2 herb drying racks that right now just create this like hanging curtain of beauty, kind of like those weddings that you go to and there's roses just hanging from the ceiling, except in this pantry, in this 110-year-old kitchen, it's herbs hanging from the ceiling. So the space is just warm and inviting and beautiful. We have the same stone countertops in there as we have on the island. Just a great space.
And that's where your microwave is and your coffee will be.
Yes, we don't do coffee, but we did put a vintage coffee grinder in there in case the new owners do coffee.
Sure, I'm sure they do.
We knew we wanted stone countertops. I always do Carrara in my own kitchen. The whole don't do Carrara, it's horrible in your kitchen. It's a fallacy. If you get a little something on it, you can put a little bleach on it. It bleaches it right out. Anyway, I was gonna do Carrara. We went to J&J Natural Stone and worked with Melissa, who they were phenomenal.
They fit us in.
Phenomenal.
Even though they were like 6 weeks out.
Yeah.
They got us in a week.
Phenomenal.
They were wonderful.
I have nothing but phenomenal things to say about J&J Natural Stone in Vidalia. Again, not a sponsored post. We paid for the stone, but that's how great they were. But we found this, we love a leathered finish.
Yes, we had that in Fern,
Florida.
Yes.
Yes, it's just the most beautiful finish. And there was a piece of stone there that had a little swirl of green and a little swirl of brown on a light background. It was perfect. Our appliances, that was a new experience for us. And that was also a great, surprisingly
never done it this way.
Easy, painless, fantastic appliance experience from ajmadison.com. I hate appliance shopping at the same level that I hate getting my tires changed or my oil changed. I loathe it. I loathe it. You go to a box store, you pick out what you want, and for some reason it takes 7 hours to order it, to confirm it, to pay for it.
And they're so limited in what you can select
Yes.
from, right? You got a handful of things.
And then it takes 6 months to come in. Then they tell you, all right, that'll be here October of 2027. You know, it's ridiculous. So I was dreading the appliance shopping. Well, we found ajmadison.com. They're the world's largest online supplier of appliances, and we ordered our appliances online from the comfort of my living room, which was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
But the great thing about them is they've got huge warehouses and they've got stuff
in stock.
In stock ready to go.
Yeah, so when you get on the website, you can look, you can click a button that says in stock and it'll pull up everything that's in stock. And we were able to order top of the line appliances. This is a flipping chef's kitchen. There's a the nicest Jenn-Air stove
appliances
ever. I don't know how many of you know, but Jenn-Air stoves are like so nice. And it was a better price than you find at a box store too. For Jenn-Air under counter refrigerator, Whirlpool large refrigerator, microwave, dishwasher. And how fast did they come?
I'm not sure. It was like a week.
It was like a week. It was too
pulls
soon.
Up with so many appliances. It was so exciting.
Yeah, all the appliances, unbelievably fast, and it relieves so much stress because it is a very stressful thing. You can't build your island. You can't do anything.
Yeah, it's so hard to do. But we knew all of the measurements, so we were able to build the island and get the appliances, get them ready, get them in, put the stone down, and now we've got like a finished kitchen.
Yes. So I guess, is that the story of the kitchen?
Without further ado, I think that's it.
Welcome
Enjoy
to Pearl's Kitchen.
Her brainstorm of a beautiful kitchen. All right, Lane, top that.
I don't know that I can. I have to go do the kitchen now at Auburn in a smaller space.
I know.
More awkward.
I know.
So we'll see.
I'm just sitting back going, I know she's going to knock it out of the park again. I'm not sure how, but I bet she does. And we do have a cabinet left over. We had 3 cabinets.
Yeah, we had to use some of its pieces though for other things. And it's too deep for Auburn. We need a much narrower.
So now we have an extra cabinet.
It's okay.
Story
I'll
of our
find
lives.
something to do with it.
That's okay. Thanks for watching, guys. We love you. Hope you enjoyed our kitchen before and after here at Pearl. The house before and after is coming soon.
It'll be next week, I think.
Maybe next week. You keep promising things.
I mean, how could it not be? We have to close on the 19th. We close before next video.
I may not have time to edit it. We'll see. Thanks for watching. Let us know what your favorite thing in Pearl's new kitchen
I'm just going to tell you this right now, too. If you don't like the kitchen design, don't tell me because I don't care. This was hard, and I love it.
Guys, we looked at this kitchen 20 different ways,
We did.
and this is the only way that made sense. The counter space alone, I mean, who wouldn't want to get in there and make
roll
cookies
around?
Or just roll around on that stone. But it is beautiful. Thanks for watching, guys. We will see you next week.
Bye.
I'm so excited to have Squarespace as a sponsor of this video. Squarespace gives you a beautiful and powerful online platform from which to create your website. I've been using it for years. Our Restoration Nation website is a Squarespace site. The Auburn website will be a Squarespace site. I've been in marketing for 30 years, as you know, and I love Squarespace. I've used it for many different clients, used it for myself, and it's so easy to use. You should use it too. Connect with your audience and generate revenue through gated members-only content. Manage your members, send email communications, and leverage audience insights, all on one easy-to-use platform. Squarespace has powerful blogging tools to create, share, and schedule your posts as well. Go to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/OurRestorationNation to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.